If you've ever wondered what are the best foods for muscle growth, that's exactly what we're going to cover in this video. In more detail, here's what you can expect to learn. What are the necessary elements of a diet in order to build muscle? Then we'll talk about the functions of protein muscle growth as well as the functions of carbs in muscle growth. Then we'll talk about how does muscle growth compare on a low carb versus a high carb diet, followed by foods that are commonly claimed to build muscle, and do they really do that? Hint, no, they don't. And the real 5 best foods for muscle growth. Before we jump in, who am I? My name is Igor. I'm the author of 13 books on exercise and nutrition, including 4 Amazon bestsellers as well. I've been a personal trainer since 2006, helping people gain muscle, and I've been training other personal trainers in my methodology by speaking at some of the world's largest personal training conferences since 2013. As well, I've delivered over 400 wellness presentations to some of Canada's largest corporations, including IBM, Bosch, American Express, University of Toronto, Investors Group, and others. If you want to learn when I publish more videos about muscle growth, exercise, and nutrition, click like and subscribe to my channel. So what is a good diet for building muscle? Really, it's very, very simple. You need 3 things. You need adequate calories, protein, and carbohydrates. If I was to organize them in order from most important to least important, it will be protein, calories, and then carbs at the very bottom. They play a role, but a minor role, as you'll see in a couple minutes. So what do carbs really do? What carbs do, they don't grow muscle in and of itself. What they do is they allow you to replenish the energy of the muscle that you use to create muscular contractions. That energy is called glycogen. If you have more energy in your muscles, you can squeeze out more repetitions, which allows you to build more muscle. In and of themselves, however, carbohydrates don't build muscle. And so the question is, how much of a role do carbs really play in muscle growth? To answer that question, we need to compare muscle growth on low carb versus high carb diets. So the answer is that even on low-carb diets, you can build about the same amount of muscle to maybe slightly less. Here's a study, or a systematic review rather, called Effects of the Ketogenic Diet on Muscle Hypertrophy in Resistance-Trained Men and Women. Now, here's why I like this study. They use a ketogenic diet. It's not just a low-carb diet, it's a very low-carb diet, typically less than 50 grams per day. In that systematic review, they found that muscle growth was identical between the keto diet and non-keto diet, and between a high-carb diet. Here's another one titled Low Carbohydrate Availability Impairs Hypertrophy and Anaerobic Performance. So this one actually showed that you can build slightly less muscle on a low-carb diet, but only just a little bit. So all in all, carbs don't make a huge difference. If they do, it's very, very minor. And so here are foods that are commonly claimed to build muscle, and the reasons they are said to do so. Eggs are commonly claimed to build muscle. Because they're high in protein. Well, that's just false. Eggs are not high in protein. 1 egg only contains 6 grams of protein per egg. Most people need between 100 and 180 grams of protein per day. Eggs don't even scratch the surface. People also say avocados are good for muscle building. No, they're not. They are very low in protein. They have 4 grams of protein per avocado. Now, that's not to say you shouldn't eat avocados. I frequently recommend them for their potassium content and other reasons, but not because they help build muscle. Now, again, people say they're high in fats, which is correct, but fats don't build muscle. Protein does. Again, the 3 elements most necessary for muscle building are in order: protein, calories, carbohydrates. Now, avocados can help with the calorie side of things, but they don't help with either carbohydrates or protein. Next, people say oatmeal is one of the best foods for muscle building, but oatmeal has very little protein, at 6 grams per serving. However, it does have carbs, so it's almost all carbs. So it may play a role, but not as big as, well, protein. People also say peanuts are good for muscle building. No, they're not. They have protein, but not a lot of it. They have about 13.5 grams per 100 grams of peanuts. Now, 100 grams of peanuts also contain a lot of calories, 400 or 500 calories. So yes, they help you on the calorie side of things, but you want to eat an adequate number of calories, not an excessive amount of calories. And these protein content values are all from Health Canada's nutrition database. People also say spinach can help with muscle building. This one really had me scratching my head, and I tried to figure out what's the rationale for it. Well, some YouTubers claim that spinach is high in glutamine. That is true. However, glutamine is not enough to build muscle. You need all the amino acids, not just one. Furthermore, glutamine in food doesn't end up in the muscles. Usually, glutamine stays in the digestive system. What you really need to grow muscle are, first and foremost, the branched chain amino acids, but even by themselves, they don't build muscle. You need all the essential amino acids. So you need whole proteins, not just one amino acid out of 20. So these are the foods that are commonly claimed to build muscle and really aren't very effective at it. So what are the real 5 best foods? Well, because again, I want to re-emphasize this, the 3 most important nutritional elements are protein, calories, and carbohydrates. So 4/5 should be high protein sources. There's no real best, but it should have the highest amount of protein per serving. So here are some examples. Things like cod, shrimps, turkey, as well as tuna are all sources where protein makes up almost 100% of the nutritional content. There's very little carbs, very little fats. These are the best sources. After that, 1/5 of the 5 best should be a high carb source. And again, there's no real best, just a multi-way tie for best. So oatmeal, potatoes, rice, and pasta are all examples of high carb sources. Ideally, you would calculate how much protein you need, which I discussed in my other video about the 2 most important factors for muscle growth. Again, number 1 is the protein content, and in that video, you'll understand exactly how much you need based on your unique factors. You'll also understand what you need to know about strength training for muscle growth. So check that out on your screen right now or in the description below.